So we're going to start our lesson by taking a look at our learning intentions for today. Osvaldo, can you start us with our learning intention number 1?
Yes. I am learning to use absolute values to represent a number's distance from 0.
Very good. Thank you so much. I am learning to use absolute values. So as an RSP teacher, generally I service students in a pull-out fashion. But I also have the amazing opportunity to be able to co-teach. And so I co-teach with 6th grade here at Cole Elementary School. I do have students who receive services here. I have a collaborative relationship with the teacher, and we plan together, we deliver together, we do everything together. We're a team.
And then we have to interpret absolute value as a magnitude for a positive or negative quantity in a real-world situation. So there's that word again, real world situation. We need to not only know what absolute value is, but how does it play a role in real world context? Why do we have to learn about it? When are we going to see it?
In our class, we do use something called the 5E model. We start by engaging them. We give them a phase where they're exploring. We do give them opportunity to explain and elaborate what they've learned, and also we move into an evaluation stage as well.
Point B has the same x-coordinate, so the x-coordinate. Let's draw that on our paper.
How do we know what the y of point B is? What is it telling us? Look in your problem. What does it tell you? What information is given to you? So you can figure that out. And how can you prove that?
The y-coordinate is opposite of the y-coordinate of point A.
Okay, so what is the y-coordinate? What is the y-coordinate of point A? So one of the big parts that teacher clarity comes in with this model is the ongoing assessment. During the exploration, we're using effective questioning, walking around to all table groups, just kind of really digging, having them dig deep and do a lot of inquiry. We're modeling and self-assessing and giving them opportunities to show us what they know. Okay, can you please hold up your student lesson plan or your binder if that's where it's at, so I can see that everyone's got it out. Let me see, 100%. Every single one of you should have it. Yes, perfect, thank you. So the student lesson plan keeps them on track because it's a focal point for them. They're clear on what we're learning, how it is that we will demonstrate that we have learned it, and we're checking back every single day. Right before we get into the examples, before we start guiding you through that, I want to know where you're at in your learning, okay? I want you to know where you're at in your learning. And so you've got your rating area in your student lesson plan, your self-assessment. We're only going to be focusing on this top part right here, okay? So if you need to look at your learning intention and success criteria, let's go ahead and glance at those again. After that productive struggle, when they were doing that exploration phase, we want to know what it is that, what they feel, where they're at, where on the scale of 1, 2, 3, 4, on the 4, where are you at in your learning? Some of them feel like, I got this, I was able to do this, I'm an expert, I could teach it someone else. And some of these children might be able to identify, well, I struggled. And when they were doing their work, they do need to use success criteria to solve the task. And they may have struggled somewhere in there. And so we want them to be able to identify that. Andrew, what did you rate yourself, sir?
I rated myself a 2 because I'm starting to get it, but I still need help on how to reflect points across the X and Y axis.
Okay. What is the distance from 0 to 5? Let's start with 5. Count with me. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The absolute value of 5 is 5. That's how far it is from 0. Now, let's find the absolute value of -5. What is the... So after we've given them some support, we want to know where they are at in their learning. So we do ask them to please look at your success criteria. Let's identify where we're at in each success criteria. A number. So do you know what the absolute value of a number is? And can you use a number line to do that? So for this success criteria, we're going to select the pink Post-it. Please take only the pink Post-it. And as you are reflecting on where you are in your learning, I want you to make... It's very specific. We want them to pinpoint. And we're seeking for an 80%. And if we're close to 80, great. When we're far from 80, we need to go back. And that is data that we are collecting, a reflection as a class. And that, again, it drives our instruction to come back and model. Okay, I can use absolute value to describe quantities. And so we've done some guidance, but it looks like even after the guidance, you're still struggling with that. And so Ms. Velasco is going to move into modeling.
But if they're just asking you to represent absolute value, then that means they're asking you to put the number exactly how it is with the negative sign inside the absolute value sign.
At the end of the lesson, we do want to do an evaluation. Again, we've been assessing along the way. Students have self-reflected. And so that final evaluation, the questions will be aligned to the success criteria so much that they're going to be able to even identify which question aligns with which success criteria. As teachers, we're assessing along the way in different stages of our teaching and using the data collected from our students to drive our instruction. Assessment drives instruction.